A reading from the book of 2 Samuel. Today is October 11th. Our reading from 2 Samuel is chapter 21. There was a famine during the reign of David year after year for 3 years. David inquired of the Lord, and the Lord replied, "It is because of the blood guilt of Saul and his house, for he put some Gibeonites to death." The king summoned the Gibeonites and spoke to them. Now the Gibeonites were not of Israelite stock, but a remnant of the Amorites, to whom the Israelites had given an oath, and Saul had tried to wipe them out in his zeal for the people of Israel and Judah. David asked the Gibeonites, "What shall I do for you? How shall I make expiation, so that you may bless the Lord's own people?" The Gibeonites answered him, "We have no claim for silver or gold against Saul and his household, and we have no claim on the life of any other man in Israel." And David responded, "Whatever you say I will do for you." Thereupon they said to the king, "The man who massacred us and planned to exterminate us so that we should not survive in all the territory of Israel, let 7 of his male issue be handed over to us, and we will impale them before the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, the chosen of the Lord." And the king replied, "I will do so." The king spared Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, son of Saul, because of the oath before the Lord between David and Jonathan, son of Saul. Instead, the king took Armoni and Mephibosheth, the 2 sons that Rizpah, daughter of Aiah, bore to Saul, and the 5 sons of Merab, daughter of Saul, bore to Adriel, son of Barzillai, the Maholathite, and handed them over to the Gibeonites. They impaled them on the mountain before the Lord. All 7 of them perished at the same time. They were put to death in the first days of the harvest, the beginning of the barley harvest. Then Rizpah, daughter of Aiah, took sackcloth and spread it on a rock for herself, and she stayed there from the beginning of the harvest until rain from the sky fell on the bodies. She did not let the birds of the sky settle on them by day, or the wild beasts approach by night. David was told what Saul's concubine Rizpah, daughter of Aiah, had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul and of his son Jonathan from the citizens of Jabesh-Gilead, who had made off with them from the public square of Bethshan, where the Philistines had hung them up on the day the Philistines killed Saul at Gilboa. He brought up the bones of Saul and of his son Jonathan from there, and he gathered the bones of those who had been impaled. And they buried the bones of Saul and of son Jonathan in Zelah, in the territory of Benjamin, in the tomb of his father Kish. And when all that the king had commanded was done, God responded to the plea of the land thereafter. Again, war broke out between the Philistines and Israel, and David and the men with him went down and fought the Philistines. David grew weary, and Ishbosheth tried to kill David. He was a descendant of Rapha. His bronze spear weighed 300 shekels, and he wore new armor. But Abishai, son of Zeruiah, came to his aid. He attacked the Philistine and killed him. It was then that David's men declared to him on oath, "You shall not go with us into battle any more, lest you extinguish the lamp of Israel." After this, fighting broke out again with the Philistines at Gob. That was when Sibbechai, the Hushathite, killed Saph, a descendant of Rapha. Again there was fighting within the Philistines at Gob, and Elhanan, son of Jaare-Oregim, the Bethlehemite, killed Goliath the Gittite, whose spear had a shaft like a weaver's bar. Once again there was fighting at Gath. There was a giant of a man who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in all. He too was descended from the Rapha. When he taunted Israel, Jonathan, the son of David's brother Shimei, killed him. Those 4 were descendants from the Rapha in Gath, and they fell by the hands of David and his men.